So what is it? So last class, I'll just reiterate. So we just discussed about Agile methodology. In the Agile methodology, there are different types are there. That is Scrum process. In the Scrum methodology, so how we will work. So how the different meetings will happen. What are the Agile ceremonies like sprint planning, sprint backlog, sprint daily stand-up meetings, and then we have review meeting, then demos, then retrospection meeting. So these are all the Agile ceremonies, we call this, all these meetings. So each meeting, what will happen, you just please go through that. And also I want to explain one more point. Agile process, we have one more backlog grooming or backlog refinement meeting. So what a backlog refinement meeting means. So what you will do in the backlog refinement meeting. Backlog refinement or backlog grooming, both are same. So don't get confused there. So it's the same process. Basically, in this backlog grooming or refinement meeting, so for a future sprints, the user stories, whatever is placed in the product backlog, each backlog story they will take, and anything missing in the user story or redefining that user story in the point of requirements, if requirements are not clear, and also if requirements are not clear, and also story points need to be refined. So all these points will be discussed, and you will modify basically user story. So that's the backlog grooming or backlog refinement process means. In that meeting, so you will discuss or you will update the user story with a new points or any missing points about the requirements, about that story, and they will update story points also. Maybe the story points is so given wrongly based on the new requirements added to the story. Now it will change the story points also. So that story points, all this will be updated. That's what the product backlog refinement or so grooming session. So grooming session is nothing but a backlog grooming is in the Agile process is a regular event. So regular event, it will keep doing continuously in the sprint on sprint. This activity will be done mainly with the development, and product owner will be part of this. If you one of the senior QA team also will be participated here also. But main goal of this backlog refinement meeting is, so the backlog items are clear, concise, and prioritized for upcoming sprints. Okay, next sprint, okay, which task we need to take up, which user story we need to take up, and also you will add the missing points about that user story. Some gaps are there in the user story about the requirements. Those gaps are added, and also prioritize for this is just moving in the order. So order also move. Maybe it was in the last in the product backlog. Now it will be moved up, or so not required, it will move down. So the order will be changed also here. So that's the main goal of this backlog grooming meeting. So, and also the team will be clarified on the requirements and adjust estimates, reorder items to reflect the current state of the project. That's the backlog grooming meeting means. So it helps also to ensure the team has a clear understanding of the user story. So what needs to be developed, and so how much effort required, all will be clearly given for the team. So that's what the product backlog refinement or product backlog grooming sessions. Are you clear? So basically the requirements will be clearly explain and also reorder the user story, re-estimate, and also reorder the items in the product backlog and clarify the requirements for the team. That will happen. And in this development team, product owner and senior QA also will participate in the product backlog refinement meeting. So that is the one. So any questions before moving on to the next one? So what are the different types of Agile methodologies? So Agile methodologies.
I have a question. So this grooming will take place in the end after the sprint retrospective?
In between the sprint only.
In between.
In between the sprints, any one of the 1 hour or 2 hour session they will take.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? No questions? Okay. So what are the different types of Agile methodologies? So different types of Agile methodologies. Basically, you have a Scrum. I told, right, one Scrum, and one is the Scrum process. Another one is the XP. XP means basically extreme programming. So that's another one more type we have. And then we have a Kanban. So what is Kanban also we need to understand. So it's a, I'll tell that. So let's finish first different types of Agile methodologies. One is a Scrum. Second one is a extreme programming. Another one is a lean. So lean methodology. And next one is like a crystal methodology. So, and dynamic software development methodology, feature-driven development methodology. So lean we already told, and extreme programming we told. So these are the different types of Agile methodology, and Scrum also. Scrum is one of the other type of Agile process. So Scrum, first one, and second one is a crystal methodology and dynamic software development methodology, feature-driven development, lean software development methodology, extreme programming. So these are the different types, but we will use always a Scrum process only. Okay, so don't worry about that. All these different types, but you will use only Agile process only. And what is Kanban? So a Kanban is a dashboard in the Jira. Basically, it's a visualization for the team about your task assigned to you, about the task assigned to you. So which status the task is there currently. Okay, each team member names will show there. In that names, it will be available which status it is. We have a status like to-do list, in development, in progress, development completed, in testing completed, or done. At the end, done will be there. So these are the different status it will appear in this Kanban dashboard. So basically, Kanban is a dashboard visualization board. So all the stories or tasks assigned to the team will appear there in this Kanban dashboard. So the status of each story will be just drag and drop. So if you are currently working, so in progress, so you will move your story from to-do list to in progress. So the Scrum Master keep changing the status based on your status call in the Scrum meeting or stand-up meeting. You will give, right? So I have completed this. So you will generally, it's your responsibility to move that to next status. If you are not moving, and Scrum Master will move in the stand-up meeting. So, but make sure you have to move that. You have to move that. Okay. That's your responsibility based on your task to move it to proper status. So that's a Kanban dashboard. And this Kanban dashboard, main thing every day and the stand-up meetings, this will be shown to each team members and it is visible. The Scrum Master will open the Kanban dashboard and every person he will ask a status, right? So the status will ask, okay, your status, and you will have one story point assigned to you, one user story assigned to you. So you have to talk about that user story, what you did yesterday, what you are going to do today, and what is the status of this user story. That's what you are going to talk in the stand-up meeting. And so you are facing any problems, you have to tell that and include that, the comments you include. So you are working. So the progress you mentioned in the comments of that user story. So in the Jira board, you can go and you can open that user story and you can write, okay, today I worked on this part. So still in progress. So that it will be, visible to all other, members. They can go and see that. Your Scrum Master will go and see that. So that's the Kanban dashboard means. Any questions here on the Kanban dashboard?
Can you say the status one more time? Open and.
So basically it will be a Kanban dashboard. You have a first to-do list. Basically the product backlog after you will pick up right in the sprint planning. So that will be in the yet to start, development yet to start status will be there first. Okay. So yet to start status will be there. Once you start it, next status will be in progress. Next status will be in progress. It will be like this. Let me give you visualization to this. So it's a dashboard. So basically these are the different statuses will be available there. And with each person name will be there. Okay. So first, yet to do, so development yet to start will be there. So once your user stories, you started working. So sprint planning time, every user story in this status on that. Okay. And then, so in progress will be there. Second one. Next. So the story is completed. So you started and you are doing maybe 1 or 2 days, it will be in progress only. Not necessary every day you have to move status. How many days you are still working, it will be in the same status. Then once it is done, maybe you can say dev completed. Then so once it is dev completed, it will go to testing. So then testing is completed and a demo is given. So demo is provided. Okay. Here one more status will be here. So this is review. Then finally is completed and you can say done. So this is how this different statuses, it will takes place and all these statuses will be applicable for each team member and who is having the task. So each task, this many statuses it has to go. So that's the Kanban dashboard visualization about your task. So every day you cannot escape, even a single day also. They will ask you, each and every person, you have to give the status. So what, and you have to update in the user story, what you have done. So what you are going to do today. And so the task you completed, that you update in the user story in the comment section. Then Scrum Master keep watching that. Scrum Master and Product Owner keep watching your comments. If you're not putting anything, they will consider you are not working at all. So then that's a dangerous bell. Okay. So whatever you started working, that make sure you update the user story. If you are not updating, that's going to be a wrong signs. Okay. Is this clear?
Sir,
Hmm.
in this Scrum Master and Team Lead, both are same or different?
It's a different team lead means what? What is mean by team lead? Which team lead you are talking? Testing team lead or development lead, or which one you are talking?
Test lead.
Test lead is different. Test lead is different. Test lead is going to manage by multiple teams. So you are the one sprint team. One more sprint team he will be there, and he is not going to be only for particular project. He will be part of multiple projects now in the Agile process. A test lead is leading the multiple Scrum teams.
Okay.
He is monitoring you, how you are working. He will jump on meetings sometimes, how you are progressing, how you are explaining, how you are doing your task. He will keep monitoring. He will give the status to his QA manager.
Oh.
That's hierarchies will be there. Okay.
Okay.
Each team member, how they are performing. If you have a problems, you can go and talk to him, and he will again contact with the Scrum Master, and you different hierarchies. Objective is you have to complete the tasks on time. If you are facing problem, you have a risks, you are not able to complete the task, you have to tell in advance. They will keep on asking in the daily Scrum meetings. So are you able to finish? What is the status? And you are hiding and you are not telling proper, so message is not passing, and that's not a good sign. So make sure you pass the proper message. The task can be done, or task can be going to be pending, or spill over to the next sprint. You have to be very clearly communicate with the Scrum Master. So he is the one you can communicate. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Next, burn down chart and burn up charts. So what is mean by burn down charts and burn up chart means in the Agile methodology? So burn down chart means, so basically to track the progress of an ongoing project. So in the current sprint, you are going to track the progress of your task. So then this burn down chart and burn up charts will be used. So the Scrum Master will use this, okay, burn down and burn up charts. So basically what is meant by burn up chart is the work that has been completed till now. So for every day, okay, how much work you have completed, you will record that in the user story that assigned to you. That is called burn up chart means. So burn down chart shows the amount of remaining work pending that will be recorded in the user story. That is called burn down chart. Clear on the burn up and burn down charts? So burn up is just the work that has been completed till now, till current day. For example, sprint is 15 days, right? So maybe you are in the 5th day. Till 5th day, how much you have completed? That you will record there in the user story. And burn down means how much is remaining. So they allocated 40 hours. So or 40 or 80 hours. In the 80 hours, how much is remaining? That is burn down chart. Good.
Yes, Ramesh.
Okay. Next. These are all we don't need. So the mainly you need to concentrate on the Kanban dashboard. So you can explain. So what is velocity? Agile velocity. What is mean by Agile velocity? So we'll understand Agile velocity. So Agile velocity is nothing but is a metric. So it's a metric. In the 2 weeks sprint time, in the 2 weeks of sprint time, how many story points are completed successfully? How many story points are successfully completed by the team? That is called Agile Velocity. So the number of story points you have completed successfully, that is called Agile Velocity. So the entire team, so not only one person. So entire team, for example, 80 or 40 story points or 50 story points targeted for the sprint. In out of 50 story points, how many story points are completed in a single sprint? So that is called Agile Velocity. So Agile Velocity will be calculated total number of so story points divided by particular sprint. So that is called Agile Velocity. That's it. A very simple definitions you give, not necessary how to scratch your head. Very simple words, you pick it up. That's enough. Okay. And next we need to be so understand a few more terminologies. This we understood already. And then next we should have one more. Zero sprints. These are all not required, but sometimes they're asking one of the interview, they asked what is meant by a zero sprint. So basically zero sprint is nothing but before starting the sprint. So just preparation. So preparation for the sprint starting. So that's what zero sprint means. So before the sprint starting day, what are all will be done? So those are all activities is performed in the zero sprint is this is the one. So preparing the development environment, preparing the backlog, and the other such activities are called to this zero sprint. You will perform all these activities. Other than that, nothing that. So what is the duration of your Scrum sprint? So just say 2 weeks. So don't say 2 to 4 weeks. Is question is how many days your sprint duration? What is the sprint duration, you will ask. So you have to say, tell clearly. Just say 2 weeks or just say 3 weeks. So don't say 2 to 4 weeks. So clearly mention exactly. Okay, how many team members are there? That's a question you will raise. It will raise, it will be asked. You can say 7 team members. No need to think about that. He's not going to come and watch, right? Just give and make sure while giving that is substantial. Okay, make sure it is proper and don't give a false information to that. So it is a justifiable message, you pass it to the interviewer. And then 2 weeks. You say generally ideal sprint duration is 2 weeks only. So that means 15 days. In the out of 15 days, you will get only 14 days, 10 days. So in the 10 days, you have to finish whatever the task assigned to you. So that's the process. And the Scrum Master role, you know already. Sprint planning and retrospection. Again, let me recall once again. So what is meant by sprint planning meeting and retrospection meeting? So in the sprint planning meeting, all the team members, product owner, Scrum team will be participated. So they will discuss about the project priorities, like a backlog items. Which backlog items we need to pick for the current sprint. That's a first meeting, the starting day of the sprint start day. Sprint start day, the sprint planning meeting will happen. So in this, they will pick up the product backlog items which needs to be delivered for the current sprint, which needs to be worked by the team, that will be picked up in the sprint planning meeting. And estimations also given in the same sprint planning meeting. That's what you need to talk. Simple, 2 words, you just 2 sentences you do, that's it. So sprint start day, we'll have a sprint planning meeting. In the sprint planning meeting, so product owner, scrum master, all the product scrum team will participate. So in this sprint planning meeting, we'll pick up which user stories needs to be developed, tested. So, and then we'll estimate them in the same sprint planning meeting. That's enough. Okay. Very simple words you give. And then sprint retrospection meeting. Retro means just English word, right? This retrospection means thinking, right? Retrospection means just your thinking about your current sprint, how it went. So is there any challenges, or do you need to improve any process so to make it smooth? And also so the team member who helped you, you want to give accolades to him, or you want to shout out to say, yeah, this guy helped me, so I can give big accolades to him. You can talk, right? You can write there in the retrospection board, the comment you can write. So I'm able to finish the task because of so and so Vandana helped me a lot. So I want to give a shout out to Vandana. So I'll just talk like that. No, you will type there. The points will be given so that the Scrum Master will keep that point, because tomorrow Vandana can get credit for that, right? That point, every point you are making in the retrospection board means it's not just they will leave it. That points will be useful for her year-end appraisals, right? So these are all will be very helpful. So whatever you are giving, something not working, you tell that. So this process need to be improved. And that is the retrospection board. What went well, what went wrong, any improvements needed to make the Scrum process smooth. And then action items, maybe action items on the different people, maybe team member or on the Scrum Master and the product owner. There will be action items for the next sprint. Okay. And then, so any shout outs you want to give, those are all good and bad things you will mention in the retrospection meeting board. So this will be recorded. That's a retrospection board will be there. Retro board, we call that. That will be recorded, all your statements. It's not just, you're talking and, leave it. No, it will be recorded. So every sprint number and retrospection comments, each team member comment will be recorded there. That's a retrospection board. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay. So next we have to discuss on the, so I hope, what is the testing process in the Agile Scrum? So you got a requirements, right? You got a user story assigned to you. Then what you will do? This is the question all of you have, right? The first thing is user story, you understand very well. Tomorrow, so today you read that user story and you got all the questions and clarifications. Immediately you open the Teams, MS Teams, or whatever the internal communicator you have. So if you have a doubt, immediately ask development team or product owner. No need to wait for the tomorrow meeting. Immediately you set up a meeting. That's what the meetings will happen, ad hocly, right? So ad hoc meetings means maybe you have a doubt. You jump onto the meeting, hop onto the meeting, and then so rectify your queries. That's a user story once assigned to you. The immediate task is go through the line by line requirement. What is the requirement saying? What they are expecting, how you need to test. Everything will be there in the user story. So that you have to read. Then the same tomorrow in the stand-up meeting. So you can say, I have gone through the user story. I understood all the requirements. That's the yesterday's task you did. And today I'll start designing the test cases. No blockers. Or if you have a blocker, you tell that I'm not able to proceed. I need help on this area. So then Scrum must immediately, take action on that. So you will point to some other team members to clear your path. You block it there. So you will assign immediately, or some team member has idea, immediately will give the pointers. That's what in the stand-up meeting it will happen. So that's the one picture I have given how you are going to talk in the stand-up meetings. So what you did yesterday means what you need to tell. First day you understood the requirements, user story. I have gone through the user story. I understood now. I have got some idea. If you already met product owner, you tell that in the meeting itself. So I had a call with the product owner or a development team regarding this user story. I got a overall picture now. And today I'll start designing the test cases for that user story. That's what you need to talk in the initial days, in the stand-up meetings. If you have a blocker, you just talk that also. So speak out. I have a blocker. I don't understand this. Can you give more examples, more points on this? How I need to test, or to a testing point of view, what I need to take care. So you have to tell. Without reading, don't ask such kind of questions, okay? You read and get better idea. Then only you have to ask questions. So you have to be very clear and before going to the meeting. First, your preparation must be there. Without preparing, and I don't understand, directly you're calling for meeting means they're not going to do each and everything again. Okay, so that's the first initial task, what you will do. Next day, you will design the test cases. After designing the test cases, and next day, stand-up meetings you will take. So you will say, my test cases are in progress. Designing of the test cases are in progress for so-and-so user story. I'll continue today also. That's the next day you will tell in the stand-up meetings. And next day, I have completed my story, my test case design. So can we review? So you can call then product owner and Scrum Master will tell, okay, set up a meeting with the three of us and we'll review them. So immediately they will tell, okay, set up a meeting. Your responsibility to go and set up a meeting in the teams. So you have to see their convenient time. So their availability, based on that, you invite them to the meeting. So who all wants you in your meeting, you invite your test lead or your product owner, mandatory, and a Scrum Master. And a development team, you require development team also invite. And all of you review the test cases. Once a review is done, the sprint, that story is ready by developer, prepared the coding and everything ready. He tested and now he is ready to give it to. So once it is ready for testing, so they will deploy in the environment. You prepare the environment. Some companies, you have to prepare the environment. Some companies, they will already environments you have, they will just deploy and give it to you. You will access that. And then you will start testing. These are the points I already told in the initial days also. Same testing process never changes. Only the methodology you are working is changing here. That's it. The testing process is, I already mentioned clearly the test process. So that you have to take care. Okay. So next, and you will test it. If any bugs are there, you will report the defects in the defect tracking tool and complete one round of cycle you will do. Only you will test that user story related test cases, not the old test cases. Okay, that's in the sprint means you will concentrate only that story related test cases only. If you have a time, then you will start regression testing. Regression testing means what? Previous functionality and current feature story. You will test it. That's the regression means. Anybody having doubt on the regression? Okay, so no issues. So this is all the Scrum process I already explained. Please go through that document. On product backlog, I explained. This is the test design, test execution, automation also. If you have automation, you have to start the automation. Then, so again, daily stand-up meetings will be there. That is the one sprint burndown charts. That's a Scrum process flow I have given already. And then we have these are all the terminals I have given. Product backlog means what? Epic means what? User story means what? Story points. So I already told story point is a measurement. So to complete the user story in a particular sprint, simple word, just plan it. So this activity will be story points activity will be done in sprint planning. What are the points I have given? Same points are coming up here. If you carefully listen and you can answer all the questions. Okay, so then I want to discuss this. Definition of ready, definition of done, and acceptance criteria. So these are the three things very important. What is definition of ready means? So that means in the Agile Scrum process, in the particular sprint. So whatever the stories you agreed to finish, that is ready for the testing. Consider ready to be worked on. You are ready to work on that thing. That is called definition of ready. So this is the beginning will be there. Right? This is the beginning part. So I told you right that today is nothing but definition of ready. So definition of ready ensures that team is fully prepared to start working on that product backlog item. So you understand everything and it is ready for start the work. Ready for starting on that user story. Your task, you are going to start it. That is called definition of ready. What is definition of ready? So the user story is you understood and it is ready to work. That is called definition of ready. All the information, all the dependencies, everything addressed and you are good to go, good to start. So that is called definition of ready means. So basically this helps reducing any risk and stopping in the middle because of not understanding or some dependencies are there. Everything is settled and you are good to start your work. That is called definition of ready. Is this clear? This is the first, before starting your work, and definition of ready status will be there. That is the definition of ready means. So what is mean by definition of done? So I told you last done status, right? One. So definition of done means the team is completed the task given to them. And it is ready to be accepted by the product owner. You completed your task and ready to be accepted by the owner. Last status of your task. It can be user story, it can be a test task, or test story, whatever it is. You completed it. And then product owner accepted that. So your test case is done, testing is performed, all the defects you verified, and everything is done, nothing pending from your side. So as a tester, I'm saying, development point of view, the developer has coded it and demoed it, and you also tested, starting your testing and you're doing, and last day it is completed in the sprint. Then they will change that status to definition of done. particular story, a particular task completed successfully, and it is ready to be accepted by the product owner. And that means he is happy with the task given to you. You completed successfully and all the points you covered. So that's why he is accepting. Because he is the owner, right? Finally, particular story you are completed means he has to accept it. In the demos, you will see, right? In the demos, how it is working. You have to give a demo. Blindly won't accept it. You have to give a demo. How you tested also, you have to show again. At the last day, I told you, at a demo day. Demo day, you have to, showcase how you did that. Even development team, how they developed, they will show. And that's why they will accept that user story by the product owner. Are you clear on this? What is mean by definition of done? Everybody clear? Okay. So what is the acceptance criteria in the Agile process? So acceptance criteria is a set of specific testable conditions that a product backlog item has. So in the user story, they will mention, okay, all these points are ready. All these points are you fulfilled. You have tested them. You have completed each point in the story. Then it will go to definition of done. So that means you, while testing, the acceptance criteria will be there. Okay, this user story will be accepted only once all these points are fulfilled, completed successfully. That is called acceptance criteria. So that means for a particular user story that must be accepted by the product owner means there are some points, right? Each point you have to complete it. Step-by-step points will be there to complete that user story. You have met all that points. You tested it thoroughly and completed that. You met the acceptance criteria. But if it is a development story, developer developed all the requirements. He met all the acceptance criteria points. He finished all the acceptance criteria points in his user story in the development. He has to show that while demoing. So each point he covered or not, he will show that in the demo day. That is called acceptance criteria means. So what are the points important to complete that user story? If you are fulfilled all the points, then they will be considered as a definition of done. That user story is done. Done status will be given based on this acceptance criteria. How they will accept the user story means if you met all these acceptance criteria points, then they will consider as a definition of done. If any one point is not met, then they won't accept it. They won't move to definition of done. So that is the definition of done, acceptance criteria, definition of ready. Any questions on this? Okay, so let's move on. So customer satisfaction will be more in the Agile process. Working software will be developed frequently rather than months, weeks, you will develop it. So weekly release are expected. If any large requirements are split into small user stories, that will be scheduled properly. Once completed one, it will be maybe every 3 months release they will plan. So in the 3 months, how many features you have completed? All that features, different teams also will be there. You are not the only one. Please don't consider you are the only team member. You are the only Scrum team. Like that, there are different Scrum teams will be there. They are developing a different features. So one release date will be fixed. Suppose now we are in the February. So Jan release is done. Now we will work February, March. So our Jan, February, March. So again, March release will be there. So for March release, you have to work. How many user stories you are going to finish in this till March? There will be a deadline. Till that deadline, whatever completed, that will be released to the production. That's how the code will be moved. So in between that, you will test in different levels. I already told testing environments, staging environments, UAT environment. Then finally, code will be moved to last release date. They will move the code to production. On production day, you have to support whether your feature is working or not. You have to test on the production environment. That's how stories will be moved to production. So customers, developers, and testers constantly interact with each other in the Agile process. That's a daily cooperation between the business people and developers and team members, basically. So that's the advantage. And anytime you have to accept the requirement change. That's another advantage here in the Agile process. So disadvantage is, so sometimes in Agile methodology, the requirement is not clear, and it is difficult to predict the expected result. So if it is not clear, they will come again with a new requirement. So you can ask that. That will delay the user story. Maybe it will spill over to next sprint. That is the one point. And it is difficult to estimate the actual effort because very short period you have to estimate, right? That's a difficult, but not necessary you have to give exact story points. Maybe approximately you will give. So then you can, whatever you are giving, make sure you finish. But if extra work is coming up, then you can inform. So in the meetings, yeah, I'm getting extra work. So I think we need to increase the story points. You can tell that. And make sure you give the why you need more story points. You justify that with the points. Maybe what extra you got it. That is the one so important point you need to consider. So it is so ever evolving features. There is always a risk of so the project is not going to end now. It's continuous process. For complex projects, resource requirement and effort are difficult to estimate. And also parallel task you have to perform sometimes. That parallel task performing also sometimes managing the parallel task, it will give some difficulty for the team members, and also continuous integration and regression testing you're going to do. So for example, today sprint is ended. Tomorrow next sprint starts. You have some time there. In that time period, you have to finish the regression testing, 1 or 2 days. So that's this disadvantages and advantages of Agile process. This Agile Velocity I already told. It's a metric, how much work has completed in a particular sprint successfully. That's Agile Velocity. Okay. Any questions? Story points also I have mentioned. It's a measurement to complete the particular user story in a sprint. That is called story points. These are all points, and tomorrow very important day for us, and I'm going to show you in the